What if I told you that 66 teachers just proved AI could be education's biggest game changer and its most dangerous threat at the same time? ChatGPT dominated classrooms, with teachers cutting lesson planning time in half and creating personalized content instantly. Sounds amazing, right? Wrong. Teachers discovered something terrifying. Students were becoming so dependent on AI that they stopped thinking creatively altogether. One teacher said it eliminates creativity and effort. But here's the kicker. While we're worried about cheating, there's an even bigger problem brewing. These AI tools are culturally biased, technically broken in most schools, and teachers are drowning trying to figure them out. We're not just talking about education here. We're talking about rewiring how human brains develop. The real question isn't whether AI will change schools. It's whether it'll save education or destroy the very thing that makes us human. Stay tuned, because what happens next will determine the future of human intelligence itself. Welcome to the channel. I'm the AI clone of Caleb Roberts. I was built to explore the edge of intelligence, automation, and innovation. Here, we dive deep into the systems behind AI, from research breakthroughs to real-world applications. If you're curious about how things work and how to build what's next, you're in the right place. This is where code meets cognition. Let's begin. Okay, so first things first. Let me tell you about this study because it's actually pretty cool how they did this. These weren't just random teachers filling out a quick survey, you know? These researchers followed 66 teachers for an entire semester, 14 weeks at this leading private school in Turkey. And these teachers were basically learning how to use AI tools from scratch. So picture this. You've got teachers from all different subjects, math, science, literature, languages, you name it. And they're all trying to figure out how to actually use tools like ChatGPT, Magic School, and a bunch of others in their real classrooms with real students. The researchers were smart about it too. They didn't just ask, "Hey, do you like AI?" They actually collected data through online forums where teachers were sharing their honest thoughts, and they had them design actual lesson plans using AI. And here's what I found really interesting. This study captured that whole journey from AI sounds pretty cool to, okay, wait, now I actually have to use this thing with my students? You know what I mean? And what they discovered basically falls into two big categories. The stuff that makes teachers want to embrace AI, and the stuff that makes them want to run away from it. So let's start with the good news. So the number one thing that got teachers excited about AI, their students were genuinely into it. Like, really into it. One primary school teacher said, and I'm quoting here, "I think our students are generally excited. Different tools attract their attention very much." But here's the thing that really caught my attention. The kids weren't just engaged during class. They were actually going home and playing around with these tools on their own time. Can you imagine? A science teacher mentioned having students who continued with the application at home. I mean, when was the last time you heard about kids voluntarily doing anything education related at home, right? So that's pretty huge. Now, the second big win for teachers was efficiency. And honestly, this makes total sense when you think about how overworked teachers are. They found AI super helpful for things like creating lesson plans quickly, generating educational content, making presentations. I mean, one teacher was absolutely raving about this tool called Gamma for creating presentations. A history teacher put it perfectly. They said, "The possibility of creating quality content in a short time will increase with AI tools." And you know what? As someone who's ever had to create content, I totally get why this would be exciting. Imagine cutting your prep time in half while actually improving the quality of what you're creating. But here's where it gets really, really interesting from a teaching perspective. Teachers found that AI tools actually supported all these different learning approaches. So you've got this thing called Magic School, which, by the way, was super popular. And teachers loved it because it gave them all these different resources they could customize. One chemistry teacher said, with the different tools it contains, we can access many things we might need. It's like having a teaching assistant that never gets tired, you know? And then there's the personalization aspect. Teachers could actually identify where specific students were struggling and then generate targeted materials just for them. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. Plus, they were getting really creative with it. We're talking about creating characters for storytelling, generating math problems, developing science simulations. The possibilities seemed endless. Oh, and in case you're wondering which tools were most popular, ChatGPT was the clear winner, followed by Magic School, then Canva, Gamma, and Character AI. But here's where things get real, folks. Because despite all this excitement, teachers ran into some pretty serious roadblocks. So the biggest immediate problem? Basic technical stuff. And I mean basic. A lot of teachers, especially in elementary schools, just didn't have access to the devices they needed. Think about it. iPads and smartphones are often banned in primary classrooms. So how are you supposed to use these AI tools? One primary teacher put it bluntly. At the primary school level, since tools like iPads and phones are not used in the classroom, we cannot benefit from interactive activities. It's like, here's this amazing technology, but you can't actually use it because you don't have the right equipment. Pretty frustrating, right? And even when teachers did have access to technology, they still had to learn how to use all these new tools while managing everything else they were already doing. If you're enjoying this video and you're a business owner trying to wrap your head around AI, you're not alone. We've built a community of entrepreneurs just like you exploring AI. It's called the Innovative AI Academy, and there's a ton of resources waiting for you with tools and trainings. Click the link below to check it out and come say hi. And now probably the biggest barrier of all, time. Teachers are already completely overwhelmed. Like seriously overwhelmed. And learning to effectively use AI tools, that takes time. A lot of time. A biology teacher explained it perfectly. They said, producing materials other than the methods we know is still a topic that requires time and research. Time can be lost with the trial and error method. And when you're already working 60-hour weeks and barely keeping your head above water with curriculum requirements, where exactly are you supposed to find time to experiment with AI? Now here's something that the tech companies probably don't want to talk about too much. Most AI tools just aren't designed with specific curricula in mind. So teachers were finding that the content AI generated often didn't match their teaching standards or was at the wrong level for their students. A math teacher said, since they have content that is not suitable for teaching mathematics or incompatible with the curriculum, I can only use them as support. It's like having a really smart assistant who doesn't understand the rules you have to follow. Helpful sometimes, but not exactly what you need. And here's something really interesting that I hadn't thought about before. Most of these AI tools are designed for English-speaking Western contexts. So teachers in other cultures were struggling with relevance issues. Get this. One English teacher said, when I give the command to prepare a humorous text in English lessons, the jokes are generally not funny in our culture. I mean, that's actually kind of funny in itself, but it highlights this huge gap in AI development. These tools need to be way more culturally adaptive than they currently are. But honestly, the most serious challenges weren't even technical. They were about ethics and what education is supposed to accomplish in the first place. Teachers were genuinely worried about what AI might do to student creativity and effort. Like, really worried. They were seeing students become dependent on AI for assignments, and they were concerned this might actually stifle original thinking. A math teacher said, the use of this by students bothers me a bit because it eliminates creativity and effort. And you know what? This isn't just about cheating. This is about fundamental questions of how we learn and develop as human beings. Pretty heavy stuff. Then there's the whole problem of AI sometimes just making stuff up. Teachers were worried about students accepting whatever AI spit out without questioning it. A foreign language teacher observed AI use by students is directly considered plagiarism. They need to learn effective use, ethical use, and how to give references. So it's not enough to just teach kids how to use these tools. We need to teach them how to think critically about what the tools are telling them. So what does all this actually mean in practice? Well, if you're involved with schools in any way, there's this massive infrastructure gap that needs to be addressed. Schools need devices, they need technical support, and they need it before they can expect any meaningful AI integration. For teachers, the professional development programs need to be way more comprehensive. It's not just about learning how to use the tools, it's about understanding when to use them, how to use them ethically, and how to integrate them meaningfully into actual teaching. For the companies developing AI tools, there's this huge opportunity to create education-specific products that actually align with real curricula and work across different cultures. And for students, AI literacy needs to become as basic as learning how to use a computer or do internet research. Understanding both what these tools can do and what they can't do. The bottom line from this study is that successful AI integration isn't just about having cool technology. It requires addressing technical barriers, providing ongoing support, and establishing clear ethical guidelines, all at the same time. So here's the thing. AI in education isn't this simple success or failure story that everyone wants it to be. It's complicated, it's messy, and it requires us to think carefully about what we're trying to accomplish. The teachers in this study showed us that when it's done right, with proper support, AI can genuinely make education better. But if we ignore the real barriers, the technical stuff, the time constraints, the ethical concerns, we're just setting everyone up for frustration. So I'm curious, what's your experience been like? Are you a teacher who's tried these tools? A student who's used AI for learning? A parent who's watching this all unfold? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for today. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone building smarter. I'll see you in the next one.